Okay, this question is from Larius2020, who's coaching a university team and has questions, right? You have questions about how you want to structure pattern play or passing drills, and basically of the formatting of how you want to structure your team training sessions. And you're saying that the team is technically sound, that they're doing some fitness or maybe some weight training on other days of the week. The way I think about this is very simple. Almost might even be too simple, but I'll tell you how I think about how I would run a university level training session with those factors in mind, right? Definitely start with a warm-up, no matter what. 10 to 15 minute warm-up. From right there you go into possession. Possession is an option. It's a variation of 3 different styles of possession. You could have classic 2-team possession, right? 2 teams getting maybe connecting 5 passes to earn a point, and best team to 3 or best team to 5. And ideally this is in a smaller area, so half of a half, right? So a quarter of a half, or right, 1/4 of the field, or a half of a half. I like to also use, if you run the 18 from the baseline where the goal is, and you run one side of the 18 all the way down towards the end of the half, right? You have that whole section, which makes a natural grid. I like to use that area. You could do possession where you split the teams up into 3 if the numbers are right. Let's say you have 18 players, or right, 21 players, 3 teams of 7. 3-team possession I feel like is very effective. And another way you could do possession is put different gates, right? Just two different cones in different areas of the field, and players need to, right, your team's got to connect a pass through the gate to score a point. And I feel like that's a good way that players get tight through gates, because if you don't defend the gate, players can go back and forth adding points through the gates, and then once there's the team who's defending tries to defend the gate, they immediately spring out and they're hitting other gates to rack up points. So I found that those 3 different variations of possession are excellent. After possession, it goes immediately to possession. Immediately to finishing on goal. Finishing on goal, first step of finishing on goal, slotting it into the left, into the right side of the goal at high speeds from the top of the key, right? Top of the 18, they're going at high speeds, and you're not using a whistle. They're just going at will, as fast as they can, in a line, hard passes, hard shots on goal, right? Slotting it away, nice and easy. After that, I transition to volleys, right? Volleyville. And I like to have the player facing me. I'm facing the goal. Players are facing me. I'm throwing the ball overhead. It's one bounce. They're taking one bounce as they run onto it, and then they're smoothly striking it on frame. You ideally want to do finishing on a goal that has a natural backstop, right? If you're finishing on a goal that is open field, or makes it so that there's not a natural net or a natural wall, then I think you want to do it somewhere where there is one, so that players spend more time finishing on goal and less time chasing the ball. From there, I moved to crossing and finishing, right? 2 lines on the outside, 2 lines on the inside, alternating server lines, and the server lines curve their approach so that it's easy for them to get across in, right? It's not about the drill it's about crossing, but you want to have it be good, consistent crosses, and your inside lines, they're creating X's, right? This player's going this post, and this player's going this, right? They're crossing over as to confuse defenders, make it tough for defenders. And as you're doing crossing and finishing, there's no defenders, right? It's purely a finishing drill. And goalies can rotate, and lines can rotate, right? So 4 lines total, 2 serving lines, two finishing lines, alternating the server line who's serving the ball. And then from there, I go to 3 teams playing a goal, and one of the teams is outside on the bumpers. And the reason why you want to have not just 2 teams playing, the reason why you have 3 teams playing is because it increases your level of competition, right? If you have 1 team sitting out, not only will it increase your level of competition, but if you engage the bumper players, it helps them stay engaged. They're tuned in because they want to get back into playing. They have 1 touch on the outside, and they're usually pretty keyed in, right? Pretty involved, because the more involved they are, the better passes they make on the field to the team that's playing with them, then the faster they can get playing again. So I think that's better than having only 2 teams playing each other, right? Because I think it doesn't foster as such. It doesn't foster as an competitive environment as 3 teams playing. And then obviously, or not obviously, but cool down after you played a goal. Ideally, I think you want to cut the session short, right? Because you want to finish on a high note with great energy. You want players hungry to have next day's training session. And when you stick to this pattern, right? Possession, finishing on goal, crossing and finishing, and playing, and you do slight variations with each thing. So you could do change of variation of possession. You could change the where you're starting your finishing line from. You could change well, there's not that much variation. We never did a variation in crossing and finishing, but with the teams, right? Switch up different teams for you could have players pick their own teams, right? Players are smart. They'll pick the best players. So it kind of shows if you're in a university and want to choose choose a starting lineup, select 3 of your best players and then have them pick the teams, and they'll usually pick the best players. So you just play the best players, and I mean that's a kind of a bulletproof way to see, who. If it's about competition, they might pick their friends, but chances are they're gonna pick some good players too. So I'd keep that in mind. So that's why, right? If you want a little bit of variation, but you want to see a consistent pattern in your training session, so that the players they know what to look forward to, and that little bit of training is gonna keep. A little bit of variation is going to keep them involved, keep them engaged, and have them hungry to practice again and finish. Right, cut the game short so that they're hungry and they're not exhausted. They're fresh for games, assuming that you have games during your week. So I hope that helps, and reach out with any questions. Thank you for your time. Okay.